Ladies, you know I have 4 children, so raising 4 children was a lot.
A lot of work.
4 different personalities, 4 just rambunctious, sometimes crazy children. And there were some times when the kids didn't want to do something. Like, mainly it was Alicia. Alicia was my sweet young lady now. But when she was a child, she was very, let's say, what's the word? I wouldn't say manipulative, because I really don't believe children can be manipulative.
Welcome to Three Voices Unfiltered. We're your hosts,
Ranisha,
Teresa, and Suzanne. And around here, nothing is off limits. We talk about everything, the real, the messy, the hilarious, and the inspiring. So let's get into it.
I just feel like she was very, what's another word? Challenging.
Convincing, argumentative. Maybe people that... Like Kevin had a thing about making his point. He just wouldn't let go.
No, she was just, I don't know. I can't think of a word. But let me give you an example. She wanted to stay after school all the time. She will make up lies. I know they to be lies now because I talked to her about it some time ago. She will make up lies for staying after school so she could stay after school and talk to a boy.
Okay. Ooh.
Yes. So,
that's a little manipulative. They're telling you a story to convince you to do whatever they want to do. Yeah.
Or she
that's
would.
Manipulating.
It is.
So, I guess so. I don't know why I don't want to use that word manipulative.
Because it sounds negative, but it really isn't. It's just an action.
It does seem really
And she was smart enough to come up with it. So.
Yeah, I had a lot of experiences of children, different various children wanting to do different things. And, you know, of course, the sick thing. They were too sick to go to school. Amir says to this day, he's 24 years old. I sent him to school with the bee sting and his eye was swollen shut. I'm like, yeah, because y'all were always sick. So I didn't believe any of you when you were really sick. So I sent you to school. So that's what you get.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
But ladies, do you believe children are manipulative? Or are they just testing our boundaries?
Both.
Both, definitely.
Both.
Why do you say both?
Because sometimes they'll test your boundaries to see how far they can get away with something before you say no. And then other times they come up with a story to manipulate you emotionally to let them do whatever they want.
And children are smart, and they will see you doing certain things or saying certain things, and it could be conflicting, right?
Yeah.
But you're telling them ABC, right? And then here you go, ABC, and it's learned. I mean, that to me that could be a learned behavior. Yeah.
Well, they manipulate you from babies when they start screaming and you pick them up.
That's true. But is that manipulation? Do they know at the age of 2 months that they're being manipulative, or they just want to be caught?
No, they're not being they're not being maliciously manipulative now.
No,
because they don't know what
they have needs. Okay, that's the only way they can communicate to the parents. Is that I got poop in my diaper? I'm hungry.
But they know that if you pick them up, they know. Oh, if I go, they come running and pick me up.
Learn that.
And I like that. And then they're gonna go when they don't really need anything. They just want to be held.
Yeah, that was Sakira. She was the crybaby of the family, so I always had to hold her.
You know what I believe is manipulation.
But did you? Did you always have to hold her?
No, I bought a walker and put her in it and just let her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do we have to do? We don't always have to.
I don't want to hear that screaming.
I know, but you teach them not to scream. I think it's the...
How do you do that?
Don't pick him up.
What wizardry are you doing?
Girl, pick them kids up. Anyway,
you don't pick him up all the time.
You know what I believe is manipulative? And I believe this is children and food. It's like, or maybe it's because I'm old and I grew up in the generation that you eat what is in front of you. Yeah. And I didn't have that challenge with my son. All right. So when I raised my son, it's like I gave him his protein, his meat, his protein. I gave him his vegetable. I gave him his starch. I gave him his drink. And if he had dessert, all of that was on the table. And I didn't have to worry about my son is going to drink his juice and not eat his food. So I think that, so my thing is that if a child doesn't like something, they won't eat it. And then what do you do then? And then you don't eat it, and then you feel bad because you say, my child got to eat, so I'm not going to feed him that spinach.
I have some examples.
I don't know. I don't know.
I had a couple kids to go to bed hungry because this is what I'm cooking and this is what you're going to eat, and if you don't want it, go to bed. Like, you just got to go to bed. So I know a friend who used to cook meals for different children.
Kids, oh gosh, no.
Her husband wanted a meal, then this one didn't eat that, then this one didn't do that, and every day she gets home, she's stressed out.
No.
Because she has to cook like 5 different things
No.
for
Oh, wow.
everybody. It's too much.
It's too much. No. You teach them, like my granddaughter, she eats everything. And like my rule with Kevin was, I want you to try it. Because we have different taste buds and we have different likes and dislikes. So my rule was, I want you to try it. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to eat it. Because there's stuff that I don't like. And you know what? Most of the time he liked it. It's just, it didn't look good and he didn't want to try it. But my grandbaby, oh my gosh, that baby will eat tofu. That baby will eat yogurt. That baby will eat hummus. I mean, avocado, everything. And as she's growing her, like she loved broccoli, and roasted red peppers. She's not really into that right now, but that's okay because she's tried it. She loves a lot of stuff.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. I know that and my son will he's going to see this and he's going to say, my mom's crazy because there's some stuff that I didn't like. But I acknowledge that he didn't like it, because they have a right not to like something. I believe in that.
Yes.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those kids who know better. Say, well, I'm just going to not eat.
They just want McDonald's. They just want McDonald's,
and then you say, well, I got to feed the child, and especially if you're stressed out because you've been doing all of what you're doing all day long. It's just easier to do this, So I don't know.
McDonald's for us was a treat. It wasn't the norm. We didn't. I cooked every day, and I know that right now, if you're a single parent, cooking every day is hard, but if you plan it, you can do it. We use crock pots. We talk about that in another episode. Yeah. We used a lot of prepping. When he got old enough, I would say, Kevin, the meat is seasoned in the refrigerator. I would call him an hour before I left for work, and you just put it in a pan and stick it in the oven. And he learned, and I would come home and I would just make a quick side. So you can teach your children new habits. And if they're invested, like he baked it, they might tend to want it more.
Okay.
I remember, I don't think I was manipulative. I think I was smart.
Same
okay.
thing.
My mom
Manipulative people are smart.
My mom said to this day, I almost broke her up from my dad. Like, they almost broke up because of me.
I want to know what happened.
I'm like, if y'all was about to break up, it was on you two. It was not on me.
They're not gonna let a kid.
Right. So what I would do, I would go to my mom. If she said no, I went directly to my father.
Yeah.
Because I knew he would never say no.
Kids do that.
So that wasn't manipulation. That was just being smart. My mom said no all the time, and I was sick of it. So I would just talk to my dad. And he would say yes. Like, I wanted a phone in our room. I asked my mom. She said no. I asked my dad. Yes, we got a phone because we argued all the time over the phone. Who was on the phone? Me and my sister were teenagers.
Right.
I wanted to be on the phone when she was on the phone. She wouldn't answer the calls when she was on the phone, so we got another phone. Can I stay out a little bit later to hang out with my friends? My mom said no. My dad said yes.
Okay.
So parents need to be slick because kids can manipulate. Not in that situation. You were just being smart, wanting to get what you needed or wanted. Right. Yeah, it was a little bit. You were. What's the word? You were playing them against each other.
Yeah, she said they had many arguments over me.
Undermining, because you're undermining one parent.
But that was my dad's fault. He should have went to my mom.
They
not
were
my
the
fault.
adults. Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
A child.
You're right. They should have been like, don't. Yeah. I did not like it when I was undermined. If I said no and then you go behind my back and you say yes, I would be mad.
Yeah.
I didn't like
I guess
that.
that would cause some conflict.
Yeah. Shouldn't cause
I
divorce,
see that
but some
now,
fights.
but not divorce. My mom is dramatic.
And you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Y'all so silly. And you got to be careful and you got to be aware because your child could be manipulating you and then some type of adverse event happen.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of an example, but I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't think of a good example because especially our parents that are so busy. You know, and your child know that you're busy. Okay. And then they will, okay, I'm just going to wait until she or he, you know, whatever that busyness is. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to ask.
That's now that's manipulation.
That's
Yeah.
manipulation.
That's manipulation when
Yeah.
you know your parent is not going to be home and you're going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. Because I know they're not going to be here, and this is this, and I'm going to do that.
Or they're too tired to care. I'm gonna
Yes.
ask them now because they're going to be like, whatever, because they're tired. That's planning manipulation.
That's true.
That's like first degree manipulation.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to say that there's some degrees to manipulation. So you got the younger kids. You know, this is the 0 to 5-year-old kids. And then you got the teenagers, the adolescent kids. Don't you think it's a difference between those two and how they manipulate?
Yes,
parents?
definitely.
Definitely.
Like a 2-year-old just wants some French fries. Like it's not that big of a deal. Give them some fries. If they're crying and falling out, you know, and acting crazy, give it to them just so you can get on with your life. But
See, there you
I
go.
don't do that.
See, you go,
You
Renisha.
don't get the fries. Throwing it fit, it's not going to change
Well,
my
it happened
mind.
with Landon last night. I was babysitting, and Landon kept sliding across the floor like he was Spider-Man. And I said, stop doing it. And he did it, and he kept doing it. I was like, you do it again, you're going to be in timeout. He did it again.
You got to do timeout.
I put him in timeout, and he was crying. He was crying. I don't want to be here in timeout. I'm like, but I told you not to slide across the floor.
That's right.
I was like, okay, 15 more minutes because you're crying and screaming when it was your fault initially. Then he immediately stopped crying.
That's right. That's right. They know. They know.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
stopped crying because I told him he was going to get 15 more minutes in timeout. He was like,
That's right. So that's that. I saw this video the other day. Yeah, they're smart. This kid, this expert was saying, you give them an option. You have an option to stop crying, or you're going to stay there 15 more minutes.
really? You saw that? I just did that naturally.
Yeah, because you giving them choices. Like the one was this child wanted something, and you can get this or you can get that, and that's your choices. Well, they didn't want that. Then you don't get anything because I'm giving you a choice. But if you don't do this or whatever, then there's going to be a consequence. If you tell them to stop doing something, stop. Oh, I know what it was. The mom was eating, and the little girl came to her and wanted a hug, but it was kind of, I think, like in a manipulative way to get her to do whatever she wanted. She wanted her to be held. And then mama said, I'm eating right now. I'll give you a side hug, but you cannot sit on my lap. Well, she didn't want the side hug. She's screaming. The mom was as calm as can be. She just kept eating her meal. And she said, because I gave her a choice.
Yeah.
A good choice was, I'll give you a side hug, but right now I cannot hold you because I'm eating. To respect her boundaries.
Yeah.
And she said, and if she's crying, that's on her. I'm going to stay calmly. And she just kept eating until she was done. I like that.
I like that too. And it reminds me of Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, where she talks about her mother raising her and her brother, and that her mother raised them as adults, not children, and giving them choices. If you can do this or you can do that, and letting them decide.
I remember doing that when Farad was adolescent, teenager, whatever, because my son was really a good kid. He was good. And but he was normal. So he, so he got in trouble sometimes, right? So when he got in trouble, I remember you can't sit up here and just, be, beating on somebody, especially somebody's taller than you, because I'm only 5 foot.
Right, Teresa.
I'm 5'2", right? So I'm like, somebody's taller than you. So I will give him a choice. You can either take the punishment of stay in the house, or not play a video game. I don't know what it was, right? Or you can do some manual labor in here. You can start cleaning some baseboards, or you're not going to go with your friends. Right, you could not go with your friends, or you can do this. So give them choices, and then you just make the choice. But you're going to get punished,
I like
right?
Because you did what you did.
Let them choose their verdict.
Yeah, and wait a minute, and not
their time,
but not all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Not all the time, because sometimes it's
Their
just it's a
sentence,
hard. It's a hard. This is what you're going to do or not do.
You're giving him a choice
Gotcha.
for his sentence.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I like
Yeah,
that,
but
though.
anyway.
And these kids are different.
Yes.
Kids
Yeah.
born in these 20,
Yeah.
20, what are they, Gen? I don't even know what they are now. They are very different. They're very intellectual. They're very smart. You got to come up with different ways. It can't always be a spanking.
They have information at their fingertips. If they're old enough to have phones or iPads,
Oh
they can
my
find
goodness.
anything out. And so they
Yeah.
are smart.
Yeah, you got to find out what they're passionate about, and that's what you use.
That's what you use.
All right?
Yes.
Because some kids
Yeah.
don't care if you tell them, well, you're not going to go outside, or
Okay.
whatever. They'll be like, okay, or you're not going to do this. They'll be like, okay, but you got to know your children, and then react to
Even
whatever
with
happened.
video games. You can't play video games for a week. I can't play video games for a week. Well, you should have thought about what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And he will follow me. Like grounding your kids is not fun because they're bored, right? And he will follow me around the house.
Oh, yes.
I don't have anything to do. You know how long that lasted? Not long, because I said, if you're so bored, these floorboards need to be cleaned. I kid you not, I did. Go get a bucket, go get a cloth, and clean the floorboards.
I'll give you something to do.
He did that once. The next time he got punished, I'm so bored. Kevin, remember the floorboards? They're dirty. You get dusty again. Oh, no, I'm fine. And he left up to do something else. But it was a lesson because they will stretch or push your boundaries as like a rubber band until it snaps. And then it's too late. Then you're mad and you're going at each other. And then that's not healthy
That's
either.
not healthy.
Yeah, Landon is my grandson. I didn't mention who he was, but I was on my computer last night and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm writing a book." He's like, "That's boring."
Does he even know about writing a book?
I don't know, but he said, "That's boring." I was like, "Okay, it's not boring. It's work. I had to do this." And I was like, "Okay, sir." If this is another part that I thought was funny. When I was driving him, picking him up from after school, he was like, "Can you take off your Bluetooth so I can use your phone?"
How old is he? 4?
He's 5.
5. What?
I was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I'm using my phone for something else. I don't want to unbluetooth."
He's smart.
How do you know about Bluetooth?
He's smart.
You know,
They're
a
smart.
phone connects to the
Yes.
car nowadays.
Yeah.
They didn't do it when we were growing up, but they know, and nobody wants to hear.
Oh, we didn't even have cell phones when I was growing up.
No, and he watches this YouTube channel where it's kids, and I don't want to hear that in my ear. So that's why I guess his mom does it too, and that's why he was like, "Can you take your Bluetooth off?"
Oh my god.
He's smart, and like he's a product of his environment. He's observant.
I know.
He knows what's going on,
yeah.
and so he's going to talk about it. He's going to use it. He's going to
Oh my
just
goodness.
be ingrained in it.
These kids.
But let's shift to how we can share some tips for parents if they feel their children are being manipulative or just smarter than them. You know the show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I don't know any of those questions. But,
Especially math.
oh my goodness. But what are some tips to help parents navigate these children that are very, very smart?
You just got to be observant. You got to know your children. You got to pay attention. And I understand you're busy. You're tired. You're being pulled in so many different directions. But your children are important. So pay attention to them.
That's good, Teresa.
And what they're doing. Look, or not doing.
Listen to them, because I had an example I shared with the ladies earlier, but I'll share with you all now, where my son was in elementary school. And he called, the teacher called me one day, he has a stomach ache. Can you come pick him up? Okay. I left work, went to pick him up, took him home. It happened a second day. But when he got home, his stomach didn't hurt. He was fine.
Yes.
And it happened, I think, 3 days in a row. And I'm like, no, I'm not picking him up. And I would talk to him. They would put him on the phone. You stay in school. And if you feel bad, then I'll pick you up. But let's wait a couple more hours. And I knew that by then school was over anyway.
Yeah.
But they will manipulate you. For some reason, he didn't want to go to school. He didn't like being in school. Or if they woke up sick that morning, I don't feel good. I'm sick. Okay, you're sick. And then he's in his room playing games. No, sir. If you can't go to school because you're sick, you cannot stay here in this house and play games. You're going to lay in that bed, or you can, lounge around watching TV, but nothing that's going to, because for that, you could have gone to school. So pay attention to all these red flags. And like Teresa said, know your child, because you really know when they're really sick, how they act. So if they're acting a little bit not that sick, they're not sick.
And I'm gonna put a little different twist on that. Pay attention, but pay attention to that, because a lot of times, especially when it comes to school or social events, a child may not want to go because something else is happening.
Yeah. And I thought about that.
Yeah. Something underlying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Research it. Follow up with that.
Yeah. There you go.
You just reminded me, Suzanne, of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes.
My favorite movie.
Yes.
Where he was manipulative.
Yeah, he was.
And he didn't want to go to school, so he did all these crazy things to not be in school. But Teresa, to your point, know your children. Be consistent with your rules. If they break them, if they're being manipulative, they break a rule, be consistent with your punishment.
Do what you say and say what you mean.
I like the options piece. Give them some options. But research shows that children appreciate boundaries, especially as they get older. They may not like it in the moment, but
they like boundaries and structure.
They do.
Have you heard kids saying, well, I do whatever, because my parents don't care. They're almost like acting out for you to care and set boundaries and structure.
There you go.
They do that.
The notes say powerful parenting. Acknowledge their feelings, but still, I know you're upset, but no is my answer. I know you don't like it, but no is my answer.
It's okay to show your emotions. Emotions are okay, but it's still sorry. It's not going to work.
But when...
It takes me back. Whoa.
And we're going to, bring this back down. But when is it detrimental where parents, kids are just being manipulative, they're lying, they're doing all these bad things? What do parents do to step in and try to reverse that behavior?
You're going to have to get help.
I know. First of all, is communication. Communication and not ignoring.
But kids don't want to talk. The problem with teenagers is that you won't understand what I'm going through. That's their go-to. Is like, we as old, because we're old, we don't understand what they're feeling or they're going through, which is not true. We do understand. We were teenagers once. But help, right? To go outside of their environment, maybe counseling, but talk for sure. Try to get them to open up to you.
But do you think that when that happens, it's too late? So what I mean by that is, when they're younger, should you give them a comfort level to whereas they can
Talk to you.
talk to you?
Yes.
All right.
You should. That's
So
gonna have to be like done real early, right?
Yeah.
there you
Yes.
go. There you go. I tell you about these children.
You can't start it,
You
like,
got to
when
start
they're 14
early.
years old.
No.
Yeah.
And that's like something growing up. I mean, I grew up in Puerto Rico. It's very strict, very disciplined, very rigid. And I don't even think it was only me. I think I know it happened. Like we didn't have an open communication like that where you could come to your parents or your grandparents about anything. You didn't want them to know because you were going to get in trouble. There wasn't that comfort level of, man, let me go and talk to. A lot of things that my mom found out about me was through my friends or their parents. Like I didn't want to tell her. If I liked a boy, I didn't tell my mom. So because that was established from the beginning, they set the boundaries so strict, and I did that. I'm guilty of that. That your children are terrified to come talk to you,
Yeah.
and that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah. And that's why I say you start young.
Yeah,
Just got to start young.
It wouldn't hurt either. This happened to me in Dallas. So I'm not going to name this child, but we had some rough times. And I reached out to a facility and put that child in that facility. And I would go and it was like a room and board situation. They had to stay there. And I would go every like Tuesday, Thursday, sit with a counselor, talk, trying to uncover these issues. Why was this child behaving this way? Why was this happening? Why? And we did that for about 3 months. Because I'm like, I had to put my foot down. You can't stay in my house and do this, and this. You can't do
Right.
That's right.
I mean, it was tough because this child would call every day. They had phone privileges and call and cry. I want to get out. I want to get out. I want to come home. But no, you have to do these things, and I have to see that you're able to do these things before you can come home.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're making it toxic for everybody in this house, and we can't have that.
Right.
Because there are sometimes things that go beyond just being manipulative. There may be some, and I'm not speaking that that's what happened, but there could be some mental health issues that are underlying in creating the problem for the specific behavior. It may sometimes they're just smart and they're just trying to be slick and get one over on you, but sometimes there may be some underlying situations that leads to the behavior.
Yeah.
You got to
that's
find
true.
that out. Sometimes and that's tough when somebody brings a spouse when you have adult children or teenagers. Woo!
That's rough.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. So, yeah.
So let's close it out and just give me one thought. And this is what I have. Kids aren't trying to control the house. They're trying to grow up and navigate their emotions. I mean, so their hormones, they're just the natural process of growing up can be challenging.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember saying, this is not about me. I know I didn't do nothing to this child. I know I didn't say anything to this child. And this child just got an attitude, for no reason. And so I identified it and I was like, I know this don't have nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? It's growing pains because I believe that there are such a thing as growing pains because your hormones, or just all squiggly and going crazy or whatever. Yeah. And it's something that you have to ride out, but you still have to keep your rules and your principles and
brain development. Their brain is not developed fully either.
Yeah.
So they're just got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Their brain's still developing, hormones are kicking in, and that's another. There's so much advice that Teresa gave me when my son was a teenager. It's not personal. It really isn't. It's just about them. They're going to think they don't like you. They like you. They love you. They're just tripping.
Actually,
that's all it is.
That's true. Look, you just can't pay them no attention,
Yeah, and it's not personal.
You ladies didn't have girls. Oh,
I didn't have girls.
No.
I would have 12 boys, to two girls. Like,
Oof.
give me a boy any given day. The girls,
They're emotional, right?
Oh man,
Oh.
it's on another level. Like it's like a different level.
Look, last week my
That's all I
son
can
called.
say.
Last week my son called me. My grandbaby is going to be 2 in a few weeks, and he called me, and I didn't get the phone right away, but I called him within 5 to 8 minutes. So when it was FaceTime, and I went on the phone, this little girl was bawling her eyes out. She got snot going down her. I mean, she had cried the whole 5 minutes because she didn't get me. I don't think a boy would do. She was just all emotional. And it took her a couple minutes for me to say, baby, I'm here. Abu's talk to Abu now, because she just emotional, just broke down. And I was like, wow. Little girls are just so emotional.
They are emotional.
Boys would have been like, okay, whatever, call him later. Let me go play with my truck.
Yeah, I remember Amir being a little emotional because he didn't like to wear certain clothes. Like you had to.
Yeah,
put
they
on
do
what
that.
you wanted.
Yeah,
But other
yeah.
than that, they were fine.
Because they don't want to be picked on.
Yeah, he
A
was
lot
like,
of times,
No,
yeah.
he was 2. He wasn't gonna get picked on.
Oh, he was too.
When it didn't care. He's this way to this day. I'm like,
Wow.
sir, it's not about your clothes. But to close it out, a few thoughts. Pick out, like Teresa mentioned that, you might even mentioned it, Suzanne, strategies that work for your individual child.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't like blanket parent, and I tried to do that.
You can't.
I tried to do that, and it did not work.
Because there's different personalities,
Different
like you said.
personalities. So find out what works for each individual child. Kids are emotional. Acknowledge that they're emotional, but stick to your guns.
That's right.
Because consistency builds security, and they won't resent you for it. When they're adults, they'll be glad that you did it. And that's it, y'all. Anything
That's
else?
good. Yeah, and when you were saying that you don't cater, it's not a blanket discipline or for everyone. On like food, everybody eats the same. But when it comes to discipline, then it needs to be different because they are different.
That's true.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, then. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching,
we ask you to
everybody.
subscribe to our channel if
Yes.
if you like what you heard, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys. Do us a big favor and hit that like button, share this episode, and subscribe.